122 teams to go on my road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. Today, we're doing the Ole Miss Rebels. We're on to the Ole Miss Rebels. The Rebels, what a season this team had last year. This was a team that had the best season in program history. Ole Miss first 10-win season in program history, and it was led by Lane Kiffin. What a phenomenal job he has done as the head coach of this team. There's a lot of pieces that are leaving this Ole Miss team. So can Ole Miss continue to be up there towards the top of the ranks in the college football world? Or will Ole Miss take a step back in 2022? What's up, Tailgaters? My name's Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel, and I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football off season, which means I'm doing your favorite team. So if you want to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, you want to know when that gets uploaded, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when that video gets uploaded. Also, fans of Ole Miss, and this goes out to fans in general, but especially Ole Miss fans in this video, you guys are going to know your football team a lot better than I will. So if you feel like I got something wrong, you want to add something onto the video, feel like I missed something, please leave it in the comment section down below. That would be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Ole Miss in 2022. But first, what did Ole Miss do in 2021? Well, first off, words are hard. This is my 5th-ranked team in the SEC, the Ole Miss Rebels. Again, they had a phenomenal season last year, went 10-2 in the regular season, 6-2 in conference play. Did end up losing their bowl game. Didn't help that Matt Corral also got hurt in that game in the Sugar Bowl against Baylor. But this was still a very, very, very good season under the Ole Miss Rebels, and definitely their best season that this program has ever had under Lane Kiffin. Of course, was an old coordinator at the University of Alabama, and he has done a phenomenal job. This Ole Miss offense, near 500 yards a game last year, scored around 34 points a game last year. So the scoring probably not where you'd like it to be with that amount of offense, at least in my opinion. Alabama scored 6 more points. Tennessee was able to score 6 more points per game. So maybe get the scoring up a little bit, but this Ole Miss offense is going to be fine. I think we all know that. On the defensive side of things, it still was not great last year, but it took massive steps forward. They still allowed around 430 yards per game, which got to get that number down. But their scoring defense was pretty good, only allowed 25 points per game. So this defense already taking massive steps in the next direction, and looking for maybe a little more improvement here in 2022. Let's look at some pieces that Lane Kiffin has leaving and has coming in. So I realized, too, that Ole Miss has co-offensive and co-defensive coordinators, so I just ended up putting one name on there. I realized there are 2. Ole Miss fans, if you want to put the other 2 down there, that'd be greatly appreciated. I only had room for 1, but I thought I would mention that especially in this video. For the Ole Miss Rebels, lots of talent leaving this team. Quarterback Matt Corral is gone. He was that leading quarterback last year and was a phenomenal talent. 3,349 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and on the ground was amazing as well. 152 carries for 614 yards and 11 touchdowns for Matt Corral. A phenomenal season last year, and he will be missed on this Ole Miss team. Couple other running backs gone as well. A couple other rushing presence gone as well. Jerrion Ealy was the leading rusher last year. 768 yards, 5 touchdowns is gone, but the most productive running back last year was probably Snoop Connor, 647 yards and 13 touchdowns. He is gone there as well. You lose a lot from that wide receiver room. Dontario Drummond, Braylon Sanders, John Rice Plumlee, Ja'Cour Pearson gone as well. That's a lot of talent gone out of that wide receiver room, and they will be missed. Otherwise, there's a lot gone in the defensive back 7. Henry, Sonogo, Robinson, Williams, Chance Campbell, lots gone from the back. Guys like Jalen Jones, Keajon Smith, Jake Springer, Dean Leonard. There's a lot of talent leaving this Ole Miss back 7. And this defense, again, still looking to continue to move in the right direction. They're going to need some help, right? But Ole Miss reloaded probably as good as anyone in the transfer portal. Jackson Dart coming over from USC, that's a phenomenal talent, should be the starting quarterback. Got a couple running backs that should be able to easily replace Ealy and Connor. Zach Evans, phenomenal season at TCU last year, and Ulysses Bentley over from SMU. He's a really good back there as well. And you still got some talent in that wide receiver room. Jonathan Mingo, Jordan Watkins, Malik Heath over from Mississippi State, Jalen Robinson coming over from UCF, Jeremiah Dillon, Michael Trigg, a tight end coming over from USC. Ole Miss probably reloaded as good as anyone did in the transfer portal. That they did phenomenal work. Phenomenal work. Defensive lineman coming back, Robinson, Coleman, Ivy, a linebacker, Troy Brown, coming back there as well. And then lots of defensive backs coming back and then transferring in as well. AJ Finley coming back. He had 3 interceptions and 90 tackles last year, including a pick 6 and a forced fumble as well. So that's a nice presence coming back. Otherwise, guys like Asheem Young, DeAndre Prince, Reese, and then Ladarius Tennyson coming back or coming in to this program. So this defense absolutely can still take a step up. And this offense, if all the transfers work out, should be as good, if not better, than that offense last year for Ole Miss. Let's look at this Ole Miss schedule now. And starting with the non-conference games, pretty easy slate of non-conference games to start off the year. You got Troy, Central Arkansas on the road against Georgia Tech, and then the game against Tulsa. Should be fairly easy games there. On the road against Georgia Tech, yeah, you got to watch out for it. It's a road game against a Power 5 team, but really Ole Miss should be able to go in there and win that game. They're far more talented than Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech is losing quite a bit this year, including star running back Jahmyr Gibbs. So they got a lot of work to do there for the Yellow Jackets. In terms of their SEC slate, you got home games against Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, and Mississippi State. And on the road, you got games against Vanderbilt, LSU, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. So there are a lot of tricky games on this Ole Miss schedule, but the talent that's on this team definitely can handle it. Again, that non-conference slate should be pretty easy, but once you get in the SEC play, there's going to be some tricks. You like having games like Alabama at home. Ole Miss has pulled off upsets against Alabama before in the past. Alabama figures to be one of the top 2 teams in the nation next year. They're going to be phenomenal. They're going to be great. Always a hard game when you have to play Alabama. You like getting Mississippi State at home. You like getting Kentucky at home. You like getting Auburn at home. Those are 3 teams right there that you definitely don't want to play on the road. And they should all be pretty good games to watch. As for road games, Vanderbilt game, yeah, you should be able to get through there. LSU, Texas A&M, Arkansas, there are going to be your tricky games there. Again, LSU figures to probably take a step up in the next direction. I already did my LSU video. And I'm still kind of unsure what to think about this LSU team. Texas A&M figures to be pretty good, and Arkansas took a huge step up last year, like this Ole Miss program as well. And they had an absolute classic last year, and we're hoping for another one this time in the other stadium. I don't do game-by-game predictions. I do percentage-based outlook to help me determine a team's record. If the game's in red, you're probably not going to win. If the game is in orange, you're probably still not going to win, but it's college football. Upsets can happen. Yellow are your 50-50 or high upset potential games. Yellow-green are games that you probably should win, but again, an upset can happen. And games in green are you're going to win the game. So as you see, the 4 non-conference games are in green. There's really not much to talk about with those games. I don't see a way Ole Miss loses them. They should be able to start the season off 4-0 going into SEC play. They're not going to be tested that much in non-conference, I don't think. But again, going into SEC play, should be interesting to see how this Ole Miss team fares. Because again, that first game in SEC play, that first game in October, is going to be a pretty difficult game. It's the game against Kentucky. And Kentucky is going to be tested up to this point. They would have gone on the road and played Florida already. So Kentucky's definitely going to be having their battle-tested moments already. That'll be Ole Miss' first battle test. That game is in yellow. Should be a pretty exciting one to watch. As for games in yellow-green, should be able to beat Vanderbilt. I'm thinking they should be able to beat Auburn at home. And Mississippi State. Mississippi State is one of those teams that I also think is going to make a lot of improvement on the field. Their record might not show it, as you guys know if you've watched my Mississippi State video. But for Ole Miss, they get that game at home. That's huge. You don't have to deal with the Cowbells in Starkville like you did last year, especially for a team like Mississippi State that could very well be much improved from last year. But so could this Ole Miss team. Again, if that defense can continue to take steps in the right direction, and again, the offense should be as good as last year. As far as the other games in yellow that we've talked about here, again, Kentucky, that's going to be a really interesting game. That's going to be a very, very hard game, I think, for both of these teams to win. But again, you got to have a winner. You got to have a loser. I think that's going to be a very fun game to watch. On the road against LSU, on the road against A&M, that's where things get a little tricky there, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Ole Miss lose both of those games. Texas A&M is supposed to be a very, very, very talented team coming into next season, and LSU, again, I'm still not sure quite what to think about LSU. I already did my video on them, but the expectations, for me at least, aren't super high for this LSU program yet, especially since they got a new head coach, and I know Brian Kelly's proven himself, gets teams into the playoff, but we'll see how he does at LSU. You have your bye week really late in the season. That's another thing for Ole Miss as well. You got your bye week late, but you have it before what's going to be your hardest game of the season in the Alabama Crimson Tide. You get them at home. Bama is returning the Heisman winner. Lots of good talent there as well. That's going to be a very, very, very hard game for Ole Miss to win, but it is in yellow because of the home field advantage. And the good thing about it is late in the season, and Ole Miss has been tested up to this point. They would have played Kentucky on the road to LSU, on the road to A&M. Then they get that home game there against Bama after a preparation week as well. So that could be a closer game than a lot of people are thinking right now. The road game against Arkansas, we all know what a classic they had last year. That was such a fun football game to watch. One of the games of the year last year, 52-51. We'll see if we get another classic like that as well. But as for the Ole Miss Rebels in 2022, I have them going 9-3. In my opinion, expect 8 wins for this team and then kind of go from there. I think this team is going to be very, very good yet again this year. They got a super talented guy at quarterback, 2 phenomenal running backs coming in from the portal, lots of wide receiver talent, including some pretty big transfer talents like Heath Robinson and the tight end Michael Trigg, who's, again, familiar with the quarterback Jackson Dart, coming both from USC. This is an Ole Miss team that can absolutely do 10-2 again. I don't necessarily see them doing more than that, but they can absolutely do 10-2 again. That is a strong possibility for this team. The floor for this team, I put kind of a very low floor for this team at 6-6. If the transfers don't necessarily work out, if that defense takes a step back from where they were last year instead of keep taking some steps forward. But that's going to be the key, right? In order for Ole Miss to have another successful season, that defense is going to have to continue to take more steps up. So there you guys have it. There are my 2022 predictions for the Ole Miss Rebels. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you guys know when I upload your favorite team. And remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next one. Goodbye.